look at projection onto a physical object. I have a little 3D printed object here that I'm going to project onto using a small mini projector that you can also see in this picture, and that's connected to a watch packs that you can see behind the projector there. So if we connect the projector and we point it at the object, we can turn on a pattern image in WATCHOUT, and that allows you to set the focus and make sure that you are properly hitting the object that you want to project onto. In this case, we're using just a single projector, so of course we won't be able to project on all sides of this object, but we'll do a pretty decent job of projecting on 3 of the possible 4 sides of this object. And then we'll look at the ability of using multiple projectors in another video. In WATCHOUT, I start by adding the 3D object as I did in the previous videos. In this case, it's an OBJ file that has an object shaped like you can see over here, and I've also added an image, a still image on top of that object. And the object in question here is our new office building here in Sweden. You can see it's kind of a triangular shaped structure with windows on one side and some doors and some other doors. Okay, so that's the object that we want to map. And since we're going to project onto a model of the building itself, we can't use a regular display because a display is a 2-dimensional object in WATCHOUT. Instead, we have to use the new 3D projector, and we have one sitting right here. You add that in WATCHOUT, going through stage, add 3D mapping projector. And it's very similar to how you add a display, but it has some more capabilities. Let's open this one up and take a look at what you can do with it. So, opening up the projector, you have the same general settings as you have for other displays. It has a name, it has a computer that's connected to, in this case it's a little watch packs that I showed you earlier. You have some other basic settings, and in terms of position, it doesn't just have an X and Y position as a display have on the stage. This has a 3-dimensional position in space. So this is the position of the projector itself, and this is what it points at. So if we move over to this window and we select the projector, you can see that the projector is up here and it illuminates the object that's over here, and there is also a target position. If I move that target position here, you can see those numbers change over there. If you look at this from the top, you get an even better view of what's going on here, and you can move the projector around so it points from where it should be pointing. Now, looking at it from the projector's point of view, you can see the image being projected on the model itself. You can see doesn't fit very well, but we're going to fix that. So, jumping back into WATCHOUT, if you switch over to the View tab in the projector window, you will see from the projector's point of view. So you can move the image, and you can rotate it, and you can sort of try to get it reasonably close. But of course, you'll never do a particularly good job of that. You can also start out by doing some other basic housekeeping, like you can put a white image across the whole building so that you can see that it is indeed covered by light and you're not missing any corners around here. Or you can project a pattern onto the building, allowing you to adjust the focus. Now the focal range of the projector we are dealing with here, and we're shooting at a very close to the model, so it doesn't really have focus all the way. I can tweak it a little bit, but it's not going to be good all the way no matter what I do, so it doesn't really matter. I think I just leave it there. Okay, so how do you go about actually calibrating this and making it fit to the model? Well, you switch over to the Calibrate tab, and that will give you a semi-automatic method for adjusting the calibration. Let's first get rid of the pattern here, so we go back to the normal mode, and you see you can also turn it off so it doesn't illuminate the model at all, which is useful if you're calibrating multiple projectors. But in this case, we just want to get back to normal so we can see how this image fits the model. Okay, so let's start by adding a few points. And you do that by going to edit points here, and then you click and drag to put a point in position. You can add a couple of points right away. For example, I'm going to add both of these, and I try to get them into the corners of the building, just like that. Then I'm going to go over and line up these points. Now, I will try to look at the model and move things around at the same time. So I'm trying to hit that corner over here, and with this one, I'm trying to hit that corner. Nothing really happens with the image on the building itself right now, and that's because you need to have at least 6 of these calibration points in order for it to have any effect. So right now, when I'm moving things, it's really only moving on the projected model. Nothing happens. And now as I start to move that point, you will see how the image starts to snap in position. And looking in WATCHOUT up in the stage window here, you will also see as I move and tweak these positions, what I'm actually doing is that I'm calibrating the actual position of the virtual projector inside WATCHOUT so that it matches where the real projector is located in real world coordinates. And you can do this more accurately by selecting a point and then using arrow keys to adjust it, so you can really nudge it in and dial it in where you want it to be. And you can see now the windows start to line up fairly well here. We have a bit of a focus problem, as I mentioned earlier, in order to be able to project with such a short throw, so I can actually capture this all on this little model. But I think you get the point of how this is working. And the other side, yeah, we can tweak that a little bit as well. So let's select that point and see if we can move that over a little bit. And I'm going to take this one as well and fiddle with that a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now we mapped an image onto this building. And let's go back to the timeline here and see if we can make something look good here and not just a still image. So in addition to the image that I put on the object earlier, I also have a little video clip here that does a better job of actually animating the texture onto this object. So let's replace that. So I select, again, I have to select the 3D object so it's selected, and then I take the video and drag onto the object, which will then replace the still image that I had previously. Now I'm going to turn off the light a little bit here, so hopefully it will come through better in the recording here. So let's just run this timeline. And there you can see a little animation running on top of that building that we just calibrated.